Live from our studios, just steps from the fabulous Las Vegas Strip, it's the Business Lounge with your host, David Wright.
Hi, I'm your host, David Wright. Welcome to the Business Lounge, where we talk to real people about real business and real success. With me today, I have Jesse Ferrell. Jesse is a unique individual here in the Las Vegas area, and we'll learn more about his story as we talk to him. But just say this, he is a person who's transitioned from one successful position to the next, and that's rare in Las Vegas. So Jesse, thank you for being on the show today.
David, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. This is good.
Good. I had met Jesse at an event here in Las Vegas.
Yes.
You were the speaker. You've been speaking for a while, but let the audience know a little bit about who Jesse is.
I can certainly do that. I'll be brief about who Jesse is, because Jesse's more about how Jesse serves than how or who Jesse is. I see myself more as when I think about it, I see myself as the conduit of the message. So, but in layman's term, what that might mean is we do professional speaking, life coaching, corporate coaching, and what we call loaned executive. We loan out our executive services and talents to other companies, where most people might call it a consultant role, but we take a little different twist on it. So those are some of that's how we serve. That's basically how we serve. And then the matter of who we serve can be a broad range.
So I know before you got involved with your speaking and consulting role, you worked in hospitality.
Oh, yes.
You're a native of Nevada.
Yes.
You're a graduate of UNLV.
Yes.
And did you go right into hospitality once you graduated? Talk a little bit about how you got involved with gaming here and then in hospitality and that environment.
Okay. David, I'm going to give you the Reader's Digest version, and then you can expound on that any way you like. The short story is I started back in the early days when I actually had a full head of hair. Like I had afro all the way to the edges. I mean, that's changed a bit now, so I just keep it sleek. But I started back in 1976 as a busboy in the Stardust and the Palm Room. So I actually started it when I started my education, not when I finished it. So I spent 36 years in the industry, starting as a busboy and working through blackjack dealer, roulette dealer, pit manager, jumped over into the marketing side. So I was a marketing coordinator, then director of marketing. Back in the day, in the early 80s, there was not anybody else around that looked like me at my position level or higher. So that came with some responsibility and onus, more of which I chose than that was heaped upon me. And that took me all the way through that career path. I got to a particular point where I realized that it was brought to my attention that I wasn't practicing my purpose, my calling. And so there was a choice, a decision that had to be made. So that's what I did in the industry. If there's more you want to know about, let me know, and I'll share any other intimate detail about that. I'm an open book.
No, that's a great background, because so many people are faced with those circumstances.
Absolutely.
They perform at tasks which get them paid, but they're not satisfying in any method. They're not basically what you said, a calling. And it's so rare that somebody chooses and literally decides to make a change. So help the audience understand a little bit about what went into that process, that transitional process that you have there.
Okay, fair enough. Well, the first thing is it actually is available to all of us. You have to get still and listen to that small voice inside. You have to get still and listen and be ready to be awakened. It's not something that I actually really chose, to be quite honest with you. When the Almighty sought to get my attention the first time, I told the Almighty that I was busy. And when he took the right hand, I said, I got you, but I'm using the left. When he took the left, I took behind my hands, behind my back. I was doing the job on both legs. And when he took one leg, I was hopping on the other leg. It wasn't until I was brought to my knees before I was really ready, willing, and able to listen for the first time. So I didn't choose this that I'm doing. It chose me. It was already there.
You know, that's very interesting, what you had just said, because so often we choose directions
yes.
that are totally opposed to to what we should be doing.
Absolutely.
You alluded to quite possibly that you're a person of faith, and I look at that. You at least believe in God, anyway.
I do, and I don't subscribe that for everybody. That there are people out there far more proficient at helping us get that than me. So I don't put any onus on what you believe. It's your choice. Whether you believe in God or you don't, or you believe in universal creation or you don't, it's on you. I have a very strong faith and a very strong belief system, but more than anything, I have a great spirituality that is continuing to evolve and grow. And so when you get still and listen, the answers are there. But you have to make a choice. Will you accept them and embrace them or not? It was very simple. When I was at an executive level at the Bellagio, making 6 figures, doing quite well, feeling like I was doing quite well, and my attention came when they had 21 people at my level, at that executive level, that did that same job. I thought if they came in and fired 3 and kept 18, or if they even fired 18 and kept 3, I'm one of the 3. I know because I've done my work. I've done my homework. They came and they fired 3 and kept 18. I was one of the 3. And 2 words came to me when that happened. When that happened to me, the 2 words that came to me were never again.
Yeah, I think sometimes people become complacent.
Absolutely.
In well-doing. Okay, and so you look at that and you say, well, it couldn't possibly be me.
Exactly.
Because I know I'm one of the good people
like
here.
I get to decide that.
But so often corporations see people solely as human capital.
That's true.
That you are just a cog in the wheel and you are an expense item. So if I get rid of the top 3 earners, let's say,
yes.
I can reduce my overall cost, thereby increasing my bottom line.
Absolutely.
So, it's not necessarily because I did a good job. Maybe you were costing them too much because you were doing a good job.
Well, in that particular case, I think it was a matter of that I didn't fit in. And I was okay with that because I'm not about seeking to fit in. I'm about doing what I believe I am there to do. But the cool thing about that, it was the worst yet best thing to ever happen to me. I rifled through 12 different emotions. 6 you'll be familiar with, David, and 6 are new that I'd have to. We need a weekend for me to help you out with those other 6. But for the sake of time, they made me come to a place. How do I back into never again? That's the thing that people need to understand. When you get to a place where you know that it's time to make a shift, a change, an evolution, a transformation. Not just a change, but a transformation means to transform from where you were to where you're going, or where like a caterpillar's metamorphosis. That sort of a thing. When you do something like that, you really have to have intestinal fortitude and courage, and you have to have a great support system, a great village, the people that help shape and reshape the quality of your life. Does that make sense?
It absolutely does.
So you really need that, and because those are the things. You can be good by yourself, but you need others to help you to be great. That's the belief that I learned, and so that taught me to stop doing these jobs just because I'm good at it. That doesn't mean that. Who cares? What it helped me do is say, what is my purpose? Why is Jesse Ferrell uniquely and specifically on this earth to do what? And I discovered that it was to empower and inspire others to live their highest vision.
So transitioning over to that, what was your first client, or who was your first client, and how did you go about gathering enough strength to walk in and say, I'm now here to help you?
Brilliant question. I didn't want to lose, and I don't mind failing forward. So failing is part of life. It's not about failing and falling. My philosophy is I'm either up or getting up. Okay, so failure is part of the cycle. But I didn't want to lose this. It's a big transition after 36 years leaving that. And that's where a lot of people struggle. How do I leave my career after 10 years or 12 or 15 years? Or it was my father's career and I'm doing my father, whatever their reasons or their excuses are. How do you do it? Well, I decided, what if I took my casino marketing database of clients that had already fallen in love with the kind of services that I provide and just tell them I have a new product? Instead of it being casinos and dice and table and felt and entertainment and that, it was professional speaking and coaching solutions. So how do I do that? Well, I took and I offered my top 150 clients, would you like to buy my new product? 85% of them came over as clients. So I started my base with where I took the client from my former career path and stepped that right into my vocation. My vocation is what I've already mentioned.
In understanding that you had taken clients that you were familiar with. They were familiar with you.
For sure.
Because people buy from people they trust and like.
Exactly.
And so how did that hinder you? Where did you see any hindrances, knowing that people knew who you were, knowing that they may say, well, wait a minute, I knew you as the gaming person, but I'm not sure about this new role you're playing.
I love that question.
So how did you come about turning them around?
Real simple. Get over yourself. Don't worry about what other people think. Get over that. I didn't worry about that. I worried about that when I was in corporate America doing those 36 years. I was largely concerned with what people thought about me. And there was the biggest mistake. You do what you were meant to do, and you do it at a level of sophistication in class, constant and never-ending improvement, you've got nothing to worry about. So I did not bring that concern there. And by the way, it was the basis for the foundation that allows sustainability, me to stay in business. Here, going on 15 years now. For us to stay in business has taken that kind of an attitude and be willing to be adjusting, always suggesting, because the environment is changing out there around us all the time. Do not be stuck in staying the same. To do what you always did that got you here, because that may not be what keeps you here or allows you to propel yourself, your business, or others forward.
Recently, we're starting to come out of a downturn here in Las Vegas.
Yeah, thank goodness.
And we're making that transition. Mm-hmm. How did that downturn impact your business?
You know, at first it did it all, because I think it's about attitude. At first, I said, you know, Dr. Wendy, wonderful lady in this town she's a reflexologist, and she's also a coach herself. She taught me this. She said this to me, and then I started to use it. She said, I got the same invitation to the so-called recession as the rest of you, but I'm not going to RSVP. I go, I love that attitude. I took on that attitude, David. I used to average about 35 to 40 solid clients consistently, and that's a big load for the kind of work that I do. And it wasn't until I got down to about 15, I said, maybe I didn't RSVP, but a whole bunch of other people did. So
Absolutely.
Now, to get real, that this is now truly, really affecting me. And so that downturn, it ultimately absolutely did. But the thing that turned it around for me was, I'm still not going to live with victim mentality, regardless of what's going on out there. What's more important is what's going on in here. Not allowing the things that happen out there to affect the quality of who I can be and how I can serve others in here. This is the best time for me to be having a thriving business, not the worst, regardless of what's going on out there.
If you were going to take on somebody that was new to business, what advice would you give them?
Know yourself, know your client, and figure out succinctly what they want and need to be served, and create evolution in their lives. Personal and professional. Think of it like a rope intertwined. You don't get one without the other, because wherever you go, there you are. People like to separate personal and professional. Doesn't matter. If they come to us for professional reasons and it's working, they always slide over into personal as well, or vice versa. If they come to us for some personal quest or whatever, we get that taken care of. Hey, can I use this in my professional life? Principles are the same.
So I just picked up on you do personalized coaching,
yes,
as well as corporate coaching.
Correct.
Okay. How help the audience understand how those differ, Jesse?
Think of it this way: they are different yet the same. And the reason why I say that, it sounds like a dichotomy, and to some degree it is, but mostly, the individual that works in a corporation is still an individual. And if that individual rises his game to what I call a biobalanced state of being, mental, physical, spiritual, emotional, and now financial balancing, he or she brings a better personality, a better character, better executive, a better worker to that environment, and broadens that scope. So I think they can ultimately serve one another quite in a reciprocal fashion. I don't think you can have one without the other. So I think it's a matter of shifting priorities matter, and which of the roles you're needing to play at the time to serve the greater good. Am I serving my professional role now for this environment, or am I serving my personal role for my personal matters, or am I bringing some personal into the professional, or am I bringing some professionalism into personal situations? I think it's interchangeable. I think you read the situation and you do what's right for the situation for the people that you're serving. It's all about service at the end of the day. Who doesn't like to be served? You tell me.
Nobody.
Even though I'm not supposed to be doing the interview, but I just want to.
Nobody, actually.
We all like
nobody.
to be served. Who's our favorite client? You tell me. Ourselves.
Absolutely.
It's us. So if my only goal is to figure out what works for you, what makes you tick, to determine what you want, I'm also looking to determine what you're not telling me. Because there are things that are available that you're not telling me, but I'm reading. And then if you allow me to practice a little mirror economics, show you the mirror, then you'll see some things that will allow that change and transformation process that I talked about.
So tell the audience one thing that's special about you. 30 words or less. One thing.
I care. That's the one thing. I could talk about integrity. I could talk about due diligence. I could talk about execution and solutions that we have. At the end of the day, what I know is nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
Absolutely. That's an old adage, but well stated.
Yeah, but I'm an old dude, so I'm still using it. So
bring
I'm
up
just saying.
So tell people where they can find out more about Jesse. I know you have a talk show. I know you're an author, but tell people where they can find out more about you.
They can find out more about us at www.jesttalk.com. You can also call us at 702-541-6992. We do answer the phone, and we do take messages, and we do get back within 24 hours. That is the best place to find us.
Jesse, I want to thank you for being on the show. It's been great. From the Business Lounge, this is Dave Wright, where we talk to real people about real business and real success. Until the next time, have a great day.